How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to OLT TV, and welcome back to the 5 things I love and hate series. In this one, as you can see from all the decals on this car, we have the Ford Mustang Mach-E in its select variant, which is actually the lowest spec of this car. It comes in a few other variants and the select one is the lowest, but surprisingly I've actually been really impressed with this car. It's one of the first times I've got to have my hands on an electric car for a long period, and in this one I'm going to be giving you the 5 things that I've loved about this Mach-E. So if you can get round the decals that are covering this car from Lucas Ford, the first thing I actually really like about this car is the design of it. I'm not a massive fan of electric cars personally, but this is a one where I've thought, you know what, I actually do really like this. As you can see, it keeps the rear headlights from the Mustang, the classic Mustang, which I will link up a photo of what the classic Mustang's headlights look like. It's kept that vibe to it, so it is trying to still be a Mustang. As you can see, there isn't actually any Ford badging on this. Obviously I know you can see the Ford sticker there, but take the decals off, there isn't actually anything to say that this car is a Ford. It has the prancing horse on the back there, as you can see. Instead of a Ford badge, you come round to the back, the front of the car, sorry, you got the Mach-E written here on the side. You got the prancing horses as the logos on the alloys there, and coming around to the front of the car, as you can see, again, prancing horse there rather than anything indicating that this is a Ford, and it gives you that maybe not full Mustang feel, but it does have the characteristics of an original Mustang. From the front then, I quite like this stance. This is obviously, like I said, it's the base spec of this car, so if you get the GT one or the premium line, you do get a slightly sportier car with better alloys. So these are 19s, I'm pretty sure, and they do look a bit small on this one. I would say you probably do want a slightly chunkier alloy on them rather than the 19s that this one has. But like as I was saying with the styling, I don't usually like grills on electric cars because obviously, as you can see, it doesn't really have a grill, and the grill it does have is fake. So all inside there is actually no vents, and this is the hard plastic front grill. When it comes to the styling of this car, I actually really like it. I think it looks good, I think it looks aggressive, I think it looks sporty, and I think the lines on it are really nice, to be honest. You can see it's got a very Mustang style bonnet. You can capture over the Ford there, you can see the ridges that are in that bonnet, and I just think that looks really sporty and aggressive and keeps the Mustang sort of DNA going. Second thing I love, sticking on the design of this car, is something I've never ever seen on a car before. I don't know if you can make it out already, but as you can see on this pillar, if you come close, you'll be able to see, as I just sort of screen that in, focus it, you'll be able to see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as you can see there. If you don't have your key on you in this car, which I think is absolutely mental, if you don't have the key on your possession, you can come forward to the car and put a pin code in to open the driver's side door. Unfortunately, I'll show you around the other side, unfortunately it doesn't have this on the passenger side. As you can see, there's nothing here to indicate the pin code. It's only the driver's side that does it, which I suppose makes a bit of sense, but if your passenger knows your passcode, I don't see why they can't do that. But yeah, as you can see, try to get a right angle over in the black and get the reflection. You can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all the way down to 9 and 0. So as you approach this car, it has no door handles at all, this car. So when you approach the door, press this little button and that opens the car up for you, and this is the handle. You pull on that to open the door up. As you can see, it's still got the lights lighting up the passcode option there. I'm just going to show you that again, and I will get the key out. The key for this is pretty bland and boring. So that's the car locked. Now if I open this up to give you a little bit of an angle, come up with the car, press on that button, it actually pops the door open for you. So there is actually no sort of handle and pull required. The mechanical mechanism, as you can see, and does that lock it? No, it doesn't lock the car pressing that button. So as you can see, just coming over and pressing that button, it opens the door up for you so that you can just reach your hand in there and pull the door. I've never ever seen anything like that on a car before, and I think that's a crazy design. It'll be interesting to see if other cars put that into their sort of designs in the future. Third thing that I've really loved about this car is another design quality feature, and to be honest, I think Ford and the Mustang group have absolutely killed it with this one in terms of design in all aspects of this car. So once you power this up, as you'll see, you get this sort of active screen going on, showing you all the Mustang sort of logo, giving you a little bit of a video to watch. I don't know how long this lasts, to be honest. Seems like it's lasting ages. So there you are, Mustang, showing you what you're in, and maybe that just goes on and on and on. Oh, there we are, it's off. Right, coming into this one, the design of this car inside in the interior is absolutely lovely in my opinion. So when you start this up, you'll probably hear this little noise, which in other cars I've thought, would I like a little noise every time I get into the car? Probably not. I know in the Audi it sort of gives you the heartbeat noise, the doo-dum, doo-dum, or whatever it is. That's probably a really bad impression. But this one, I quite like the startup sound of this. So if you power this on, don't know if you were able to hear that one, but that gives you a little startup noise every time you start it, and I think it's quite nice. Obviously when you turn it off, does it give you one? I can't remember. It does, and to be honest, the powering it down actually sounds better than the powering it up. So see if you can hear this one again. So that's the noise as you power it up. But that wasn't really what I was going to go into. It was actually going to be the design of this screen. This screen kind of, you know, copied from previous Teslas with the portrait screen. I know Tesla's starting to go landscape now, but this screen is actually really intuitive. It's really nice to use. Clicking away, it's absolutely massive. The one downside I would say to it is probably when you're sat facing forward, that is also sort of, I can't remember the thing of the word now. It's just plonked on there. It's not tilted towards the driver or passenger. It's just plonked central. I think sometimes when you're driving, that could be slightly more adjusted this way, and that will give you a bit of a better view of it. But this screen, obviously, it's got Apple CarPlay as standard, Android Auto as standard, and you control everything from this screen. And usually I would say I don't enjoy that, and I like some physical touch buttons. With this one, I actually do enjoy it. As you can see here, we've got the drive select modes, which are available on the car. You have Whisper, Active, and Untame. So that's sort of like your eco, your actives, your everyday comfort, and your untame is your sporty driving. But this screen, I've actually found, was really responsive. Obviously, with the engine not being fully on, everything won't fully... I say the engine, it's actually not got an engine at all, is it? It's electric. With it not being the ignition fully on, it might not show up everything, but as you can see, all of these sort of options come as a standard in this one. Any model higher than this, obviously you're going to get more features, more driver assistance, more cameras, better sort of tech involved in the car. But I think everything on here has actually been really, really good. And I haven't had any flaws. It's been really responsive. You don't have any issues with sort of lag or button delay. Everything just, it feels smooth and really capable. To be fair, the one annoying thing, I don't know if you just saw that, I've accidentally just changed the time there. Maybe that shouldn't be like that. That maybe annoys you a bit. But in terms of everything else, everything works so smooth, works perfectly fine. You don't have any issues with sort of, if anything, you might have the issue of the climate control being on here rather than a selective turn. I do think I've seen a few people say they don't like the volume being on here, but I actually think that's really good, especially from a driver's point of view or a passenger's point of view. Instead of tapping away like you have to do on some cars, you can't just turn this dial. So I'm going to say the tech inside of this car and the design layout of it has been absolutely fantastic. I do love this mini display that you get as your sort of dashboard there. No matter where you put the wheel, it doesn't seem to block out any of that, and that just is fantastic, especially when it comes down to other cars which also have the screens there, like Peugeot for example. I found that it can be difficult to see the screen in certain seating positions or steering wheel positions. So for me, third thing I've learned about this Mach-E is going to be the tech that you get as standard in this thing. I'll just show you the cameras now. Obviously, as you can see, it has the rear facing camera. It does say full view not available. That is not spec'd on this car. You can get 360 surround, but it does have front and back rear sensors with the rear facing camera as standard in this one. As you can see on the front there, it's got adaptive cruise control, which is currently on, and that knows to keep you a certain distance away from the vehicle in front of you, and it's actually been really, really good. Obviously you can see on here it's got the adaptive cruise control on. Just press this button, you can have normal cruise control or adaptive. Lane centering I've turned off, as that can be a bit annoying. The speed sign recognition, you can't see it on there at the moment because it hasn't recognized one, but it'll throw like a 20, 30, 50, whatever sign up on here to show you the speed sign recognition. You got the speed limit assist, speed warning, intelligent speed limiter. You got your lane keeping system, alert and aid, alert high intensity, pre-collision assists. Obviously fantastic to have things like that in modern cars, just in case you're going to get involved in a crash. You got the rear view camera. Bliss, I'm not sure what Bliss is. Bliss alerts your vehicles entering rear blind zone spots. Obviously this car as standard comes with the blind spot sensors, which is really good. Wrong way alert, I had a bit of a chuckle when I read that one. See if you're not going down a wrong way street. Cross traffic alert, reverse brake assist, and driver alert. In this one I've noticed when I was sat at some lights waiting to go left and right, I was looking left for a longer period of time and right for a longer period of time, and it told us look forward, which obviously is good in that scenario of you're driving and you're not keeping your eyes on the road. But in terms of looking left and right, at lights, that might get a bit annoying, so you might have to turn that one off. But yeah, as you can see, not a single thing wrong with the technology in this car. It's been absolutely fantastic to use. The nav system on here is really good as well. Really responsive. Look, that's fantastic, to be fair. So yeah, technology in this one from Ford in the Mustang department is absolutely fantastic. Staying inside the vehicle then is going to be number 4, and that's going to be the practicality of this one. As you can see, you have a massive center console here, which is a complete open space and if it's 2 cup holders. You've obviously got your center console here, which does lift up and offer you a bit more space in there. That's deep enough. There's a pen in here. As you can see, it's deep enough for a pen to stand up in, which is a decent sort of depth for a center console. You can't close that up with that. So in terms of your sort of driving position and your practicality and your storage aspect of this car is actually really good, to be fair. As you can see, like I mentioned, you got your wireless charger here, but that can store loads in there. This lifts up, but you wouldn't want to lift it up because that keeps everything sort of in position on that rubberized board there. You got your storage space for your phone, 1 and 2, both sides wireless charge, which is really good. If I step out slightly, you'll be able to see, I mean, that can be a bit annoying. I would probably have that closed if I was you. It looks a bit better. Obviously store things in there and then close it up. As you can see, you've got a storage compartment under there with an extra bit of storage. The door bins have been really good. Stored bottles for us and sort of my wallet and stuff while I've been driving. If I come into the back of the car, the one thing I didn't really get about this was how you open this door, but I'll get that in the next video. Coming into the back then, storage and space as a whole in here is actually really good. Having no center tunnel means you can just slide your foot all the way across, no issues whatsoever. And again, yeah, perfect seating position, to be honest, for anyone in the back. The back seats are actually really comfy in this one. You've got more than enough room to stretch your legs out. Your knees aren't anywhere near touching the front seats in front of you. The windows are perfectly fine, not too small, you don't feel claustrophobic. You have your hooks here for if you're hanging any clothes, which I thought was really good. I'm unsure what this is though. It looks like you should be able to pull it open, but you can't. And same on that side. And yeah, I think you can comfortably fit 3 in the back of here. You've got quite a large centre seat, and obviously, like I said, with no tunnel in the middle, you can put your feet there or feet either side, and there's plenty of room. The headrests as well, really comfortable, and you've got this pull down here if you don't want to carry an extra passenger, and you've got these 2 cup holders there for you. So in terms of sort of your comfort as well as your storage in the back of here, the space is absolutely fantastic. I will show you as you open that and then push, I will show you the boot space. The boot space isn't fantastic in terms of being an SUV. I do think I was a bit surprised when I opened this boot up and saw that it's not the biggest. You have this load cover, which is actually just material rather than a firm parcel shelf, which lets you store a bit more. But I was expecting the boot of this one to be a little bit bigger. I'll probably throw up some stats on the screen of how big this one is, but I was just expecting your boot to be slightly larger on this one. I suppose the one benefit you do have though with this being electric is that if I open this up, you do get, as you can see, a frunk. And you open the front up, and as you can see, you've got a Ford box in here, which is another cable, but that is your front boot as well. So if you can't fit everything in the back, you can actually fit things in your front as well, which is pretty good. It's an extra storage space as well as using the boot and the plenty room that is in the back of the car. So that is that closed. The storage space on this one, I'm going to give as one of the things I've loved on this. The fifth and final thing that I'm going to tell you that I have loved about this Mach-E is going to be its driving capabilities. With this one, being a Ford at heart, it has such a smooth and comfortable drive to it. That was also added to by the fact it's electric. It has no sort of jolts, it has no lag, it has nothing in terms of sort of using the clutch on a car and the bite point being wrong or anything like that. The driving of this one has been incredibly sort of, what's the word, it's been incredibly surprising, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it to drive as well as it has. It's one of the first electric cars I've been able to drive for a longer period of time, and it has actually been a really, really nice wake-up call on electric cars. I'm someone who loves the noise of an engine, loves the sort of the feel and the grumble and the vibrations of an engine, and this one being so smooth, so calm, so quiet, and it was just like a really subtle experience, but it was actually really, really nice to sort of go around the town, go around the country roads in. It's smooth, like I said, it has no lag, and being the Mach-E Select version, which is, like I said, it's the lower spec, you can get better specs of this with higher sort of performance outputs and bigger range and all-wheel drive, especially the GT variant of this. You can get the more powerful electric batteries on this one, and you can get the all-wheel drive. This is just a front-wheel drive version. You didn't feel like you were slow at all. You put your foot down in this one and you're getting the 60 in sort of 5, 6, 7 seconds depending on the road conditions, and you don't hear it do it. So it's a bit surprising. Obviously with an engine you can hear it going through the gears, so it almost gives that idea that it's taking a bit longer. With an electric, when there's no lag and it's just instant torque, you do just seem to hit 60 before you actually realised you're going 60, and that is in terms of the smoothness and also the sound that you don't get in an electric car. So as a whole, the driving, I would say, is definitely a positive on this one. It's smooth, it's comfortable, it's easy to drive, it's got loads of driving assistance on it, which makes it even easier to drive and even better to drive, to be honest. And it has that sort of Mustang DNA in it, which allows you to have that sporty aspect to it. It sits nice, and it doesn't feel like you're pulling something that is as big as it is. It feels a little bit like a go-kart because of the electric sort of feel to it, and I just found that really, really surprising once I'd driven it that way. And I just think overall the drive of this was a lot better than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting it to feel sporty at all, but it does. It has that sporty aspect to it, and it hasn't lost the sort of Mustang vibe, and I'm really impressed by that. So that is going to be the 5 things that I've loved about this Ford Mustang Mach-E Select. Like I've mentioned, you can get better specs of this car. There's a lot higher sort of models. This one itself starts at around £50,000, as you can see, £499 a month with £499 deposit. Not sure that offer is still going to stand at the minute, but when I was in the dealership talking to them when I picked this up, there is a lot of 0% interest rate on electric cars at the moment, so this might be something that you can consider. Personally, I've never considered an electric car in my lifetime, in my sort of 8-9 years of driving cars and liking cars, but this is something I would definitely shortlist, to say the least. I think in a better spec, obviously a higher spec model with different spec rims, a few more sort of pan roof and stuff like that on it, this could be a fantastic daily driver. The mileage I found was sort of looking at 280 range, and that wasn't with sort of your grandma driving or your Sunday driving. That was still a bit of spirited driving with the heated seats on, the heated steering wheel on. and I do think you're getting decent range. You're sort of creeping up towards 300, and that isn't even in the bigger battery versions where you can offer more range. So I'm going to say from this one, it's been a really pleasant sort of surprise, this one. And I'm going to be doing some more electric cars in the future. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I'm just trying to get a broad range for the channel and sort of give you all the ideas of 5 things that you might love and hate about certain cars and review them for you to help you go forward with getting a car. But I've been OLTTV. This has been the 5 things I love and hate series. This has been the Ford Mustang Mach-E in its select variant. And thank you very much for watching. Please drop a comment, please like, please subscribe, and I will catch you all in another one. Cheers.